The man is made when the world is at sleep. Ịchọrọ ịbụ nwoke ọ n'abalị. Ọ dịghị kwa udo ụra ị nwere anya. Either praying or reading. And that's when I perform the impossible. What are they singing? In the fire. Okunerere, 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 dancing in the fire. Okunerere, the 3 young men. You see, that is an inspiration. Paganism is equal. Let them say they are out to worship idol, which angers God. Culture is good. Culture is perfect. Culture is wonderful. Culture is lawful. Culture is a second nature. Culture is in the being. This thing, they turn it into a god. But this is an artifact. They turn it into a god. But it is an artifact. In Virgin Maria's statue, we ask him to ask. We don't use Maria as God. But if they get Virgin Maria, they will call her God. Like this one now, they can invoke you into this thing and put fire here. Before morning, you suffocate and die. Called Iteia. This bottle, all this they tie down are the people. This is coffin for death by the occult forces. This marine spirit. Okay, this one is against witchcraft, but it doesn't stop it. If we're going back to our forefathers, did you know what they used to prepare it? Do you know the promises they made, the covenants? Look at this one, for instance, collected from a village. This is a real human skull.
So how did the name Okunerere started? Okunerere consuming fire. How did it start?
Yes. Good idea. Now, it is still mysterious. I was reflecting on the Bible when it came. I was reflecting on Daniel 3, I think from 14 down to 25, where the 3 young men were arrested for refusal to worship the man-made God. They were bound hands and feet with even rags and fuel on their body. And they were dropped into the furnace, charged 7 times hotter than usual. And behold, they said, King Nebuchadnezzar, even if you like, drop us in the fire, but we shall not worship your God. And he said, okay, let me see that your God, whether he can save you from my fury. They said, whether he can or not, we are not going to worship you. So he bound them hands and feet, brought mighty men, macho men, dropped them into the fire. Vroom! When he dropped them, ordinary heat from that place melted this, this restless, melted them. Their body was flowing like water. Human being is like candle. The heat from the furnace melted them. They were flowing like water on the ground with bones flashed everywhere. What of those who will feel the heat and feel the fire itself? What happened? They were right there. Fire burnt the tie. Fire burnt the chain, burnt everything on their body except their clothes. It didn't touch their clothes, it didn't touch their head, it didn't touch them. They were rather what? Dancing inside the fire. Behold, there was a 4th man. The king looked. Were it not 3 men we dropped? How come that there is a 4th man? Maybe that is that God they are talking about. He has gone there to save them. And what did the king say? He looks like a son of God. Who is son of God? Jesus Christ, by then not yet existed. You see the mystery?
Yeah.
So, He called, Meshach, Shadrach, Abednego, come out. Now I see you are serving a living God. That shook my very heart. When I was reflecting on this fire, what are they singing in the fire? Okunerere, 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 dancing in the fire, Okunerere. The three young men. You see, that is an inspiration. I looked in the scripture, I saw it. Hebrew 12:29, that God himself is fire. That's why he didn't burn his people. They became one. Hebrew chapter 1 verse 7, children of God are flames of fire. So if God is body of fire, the children are flames of fire. Like father, like son, they couldn't be burnt. Oh no, it caught a flame on my body. I shook. That's the first time I spoke in tongues. Middle night. I was reflecting on this. So if you do it, you still get the same experience. Quiet night. You begin to reflect on the word of God. No distractions. You're experiencing interconnectivity with heaven and earth. You shook my body. I spoke in tongues. You broke it not to break my teeth. I shook anything I heard, I lifted it up. Heard my bed, I lifted it. It was so powerful. That's when Okunerere began. That's the source, that's the inspiration. And it came to materiality that all the teachers who were teaching in St. Catherine, this nursery school in the cathedral, each time I was teaching and I started singing, maybe with the charismatics then, these 2 days, all of them will leave class and join. They will not come until I start, Okunerere, Okunerere. Before you know it, the whole class is empty. The whole teachers held me to say, what has Fr Okunerere put in this music that he continued to empty our class? You see? But I wouldn't know anything was happening. You see? So it became a kind of spiritual national anthem for us.
Yeah.
And anytime we intone it, is immediate connection.
Yeah.
So that's why they started calling me Fr Okunerere, Okunerere. You know, if you are a stammerer and you are a teacher, you start and. Before you know it, students will say, you don't know, and has come.
Yes.
And has come. That's it, how it connected to my name. Because I must always sing it. Okay. Because I know the force is heavenly.
Okay.
So that's just that.
Okay. So Father, these shrines you are packing and juju, all these idols, deities you are packing. Do you face any challenges? Did you just how do you do it? And there is also a question I would like to ask you, but I want you to answer this one first because this particular question connects to this one, but I want to ask you two of them together. I want you to answer me how do you do it? Do you face any challenges from them? Do they fight back? You know, just your experience.
Well, I wouldn't say they wouldn't fight back, but if whether their fight has effect, you know, a child can be beating you. Does it have any effect?
No.
It's fighting, but it has no effect. It doesn't stop you from eating and going ahead with what you're doing. As per whether they fight, but it has no effect. It has no distractions. So they are wasting their time. So what it all means is that, as you know, whether it has effect little to them, not to me, does not stop me. I'm on my own. You understand? So they actually That's what we have answered this question already when I told you about Moses' experience in Pharaoh's house.
Okay.
He grew in Pharaoh's house in order to be able to withstand Pharaoh.
Yes.
For no human being could withstand Pharaoh. He was a god. Only he who was trained under Pharaoh can withstand him. And it was the daughter of Pharaoh that adopted Moses from the sea.
Yes, when they abandoned him.
Do you think God was joking? He knew what he was planning.
Yeah.
You can't bring somebody who doesn't know Pharaoh or has not grown or no knowledge or language of Egypt to go and stand before Pharaoh. Who you are. He will just crush you. But they know Moses. He grew there. He was a robust man. He even used one hand to kill an Egyptian and open the earth and buried him. He was a strong man. And they know what he could do. You can't just handle Moses. He has the support of the heavens and the support of the physics. Okay? And he knows the tricks, the nitty-gritty of all the magicians in that house. He knew their secrets. He grew there. And as the son of Pharaoh, he grew as son of Pharaoh because the daughter of Pharaoh adopted. So nothing you will hide in the house of Pharaoh to Moses. He knew all of them. So that's the same way God introduced me to occult kingdom for the kind of work I was going to do.
Okay.
So that I wouldn't be afraid.
Yeah.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
Are you okay now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So the other question comes in. There is a lot of priests who don't believe in anything. Can I call it spiritualism, or can I call it they don't believe in occult, juju, and speaking in tongue and all that. So they don't really believe in those things. They believe in miracle, but before they will accept that this is miracle, they always want to confirm every detail. But my own way I am emphasizing this question is based on this juju, carrying of juju, and idols and deities. So some reverend fathers don't believe. I saw a lot of them writing stories that those things is nothing. You can just carry it, and those priests that and pastors that goes to carry all those things, they're just using it. So they make a lot of comments like that. So and because of that, sometimes we begin to ask questions, and I'm here to ask you. You are the one picking them. So can you say something about that?
There must be Judas.
Okay.
By this I mean knowledge. Some of us, we are trained to be argumentators. That's philosophia, which one of whom I am. I'm a philosopher, I'm a theologian. Study of God, and then study seeking knowledge for knowledge's sake. You understand? So that's exactly what some people go there. In the seminary we have to fly with two wings. One academics, one spiritual. So some of us drop spiritual and fly with academics. Those are the people questioning it. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Go and ask the history of seminary. You'll be asked to fly with two wings. Where some will drop the spiritual wing and fly with one wing. They will take in first position all through. They don't know what they're talking about spirituality. Or they pretend to be practicing it when they are not truly that. So that's what we have. We have two categories. While some people will drop academics completely and fly with spirituality. Is it? So, and for them, you close your eyes. You don't need to know anything about in the world. So that's why the church say balance it. Spirituality and academics. Two of them will have two wings to fly. And that's what I try to practice. I am into spirituality. I'm into academics. So to maintain the word of the church, mother church, two words. I'm not blind to either way. I carry the boat to fly. So that's why I don't doubt. And that's why I don't blame those who doubt, because they might have dropped one wing, knowingly or unknowingly. And they kept on going till they reached the apex. All they know is that they pass well. And authority will only see them doing well in academia, and they forget the other one. Nobody will go inside you to ask you whether you say the rosary, whether you believe in rosary, whether you believe in the mass, which we are saying. Nobody can evaluate it. Only you can know whether you believe in what they are doing. And those people tactically attack spiritual angels. I stop so far. So,
All right.
do you understand it now?
Yeah, I understand perfectly.
So just understand that there are two wings. Some knowingly or unknowingly drop one wing.
Okay.
And those are the people you see in one full angle.
How were you able to manage you said that you were flying with two wings based on education and spiritualism?
Yes.
And as busy as you are and all that, how did you become a professor, first of all, a reverend father, a professor, a doctor? Was it doctor?
Doctor before professor.
No, you a lot of things. That one of your teachers. So I can't even. I see LLC, FF. I don't even know all these things. How you're able to combine and become, with all your busy schedules and all that.
Yes, if you watched when I was telling you about how I know about Okunerere, it was in the midnight. So my principle during the day, I have not sat down since today. I've been standing up, attending to various people on a Monday like this when I'm supposed to be resting. It's not easy to rest. So it is, I know in the day, people took it over. Cases upon cases. So I give in to that. But in the night, once I'm not in adoration or prayer session, the next is to wait for midnight. And that's why I developed the principle called the man is made when the world is at sleep. Very deep to unravel. The man is made when the world is at sleep. It's all even working on Abani. Either praying or reading. And that's when I perform the impossible. Not during the day, because so many share, so many own the day.
Yes.
Hundreds of people own the day. Yes. And I cannot deny them that. So I give it to them. In the night when they have gone to bed, I use it up. And that's when I read. You understand? Avid reader. So I read. Even when people say law school, I read all the 5 works of law 2 times before going to law school. When I got there, I then diversified. After reading, I collated. I read till this my eye could no longer open. One brother, Kenneth, went and bought Ogwanya and put before my eyes open. I will sit down 8 in the evening till 2 a.m. I celebrate my mass. I will sit down there till 6 a.m. I will go to sleep. I sleep 1 hour. Ask somebody to wake me. I will rush to class. From there, I go to tutorial. From tutorial, you go to seat. This is what you do. It's merciless place. You have to struggle it out. And behold, before I started, that is called law school. Law school is not that one you attend in the university. That one is pepper soup. Law school, when people say, I'm in law school, not true. When you're in university, that is not law school. Law school is 1 year, but it's 10 years inside 1 year. It's a hell. It's where you must sweat. Many run mad, many go sick, many die out because of the stress. Well, nobody knows who is who. To mark the papers, to have A, B. Those in the Lagos campus can take your A part. Those in Kano will take your B part. Whom are you going to bribe to mark for you? So you better struggle it out. And after they have marked it, and only numbers, no name. So to say, I am Mobile Paul, please check it and mark where it's not there. Are you getting me?
No favorite.
No favor. When they finish that, they will come and sit down and remark it. And sit down again and remark A, we mark B, B, we mark A.
To make sure they get what they want.
Make sure they get. So no mercy. Mama, papa, no dey there. You must do it. You must achieve it. So, and before I went to that, I had the inspiration to go to law school. Far back, 2016. I looked at my papers. You know, I told you I went to technical college.
Yeah.
I was more inclined on science. So by the time it came, I hadn't the qualification, because there must be government there, literature there, and so on, one other. But I didn't have them. How do you get admission? I went back to secondary school, sewed their uniform with their little tie and the cap. I was going like this to the class. Far back to Atobolafo.
You.
I went to school.
Jesus Christ. This is inspiration.
Yes.
You went back and sit down and rewrite your work.
Rewrote it complete.
Just for you to get qualification for art students.
Thank you.
So you can be able to study law.
Finish.
And before that, you're already a barrister.
You're
already a professor. You're already Reverend Father. All kinds of things.
Yes,
but Father,
I was already Reverend Father, doctor, associate professor. I was coming up to associate professor then. So I had almost got about 2 doctorates then. So when I went to study, to start collating paper for law school. So it's determination and decision and focus. If you don't decide, you can never start.
wow, Father, I'm motivated by your story, because as big as I am like this with this kind of BS, I'm trying to go back to school, but my head cannot even come together to start it. I don't even know, but because of this your story, because you had a lot of things in your plate, but you still make out time, because you being able to read as a spiritual director. A lot of people will be disturbing you,
Sure.
helping them with prayer and all kinds of that. Still join it with reading and still remember what you read and still pass your exam.
I lecture at Fr Okunerere University.
And still get time to lecture. Jesus Christ. This is.
And none of them knew that you are doing the other. And I was a parish priest.
And you are combining and attending all of them.
And I go to carry idols. So they don't.
Jesus
They
Christ.
don't know you are existing. The parish doesn't know adoration is existing. Adoration doesn't know parish is existing. And parish doesn't know you are going to class. Class doesn't know you are holding adoration. And that does not stop booking families upon families to attend to. And that does not stop international engagement. As I said, I have visited all the known world as of today. There is no part of the world I have not gone for the sake of ministry and conferences and academic conference and spiritual conferences. The known world I just, let's say US, Britain, Italy, Ireland, London, name it. Croatia, Poland, African countries, I don't think there is any country I've not stepped into in this process. So, and all those things don't know you are doing those other things. So, I don't know whether God duplicate me sometimes.
I think he did. I think he did. So, but all those
That it gives me stamina.
yes,
Yes, that's that.
all those qualifications. Are you what are you using them for?
Good.
Is it really for money, or for what are you using them for?
Right. You asked well. If it is money, one is enough to get money. What are you, if you studied, like now, if you study mass comm, you'll be employed in mass comm. You can't use any other way to teach any other place. So it's not for money. Rather, it can be said to be focused or channeled to the service of God. Like international relations. I studied it because of all these travels. I studied it to a doctoral level. Peace and conflicts, which I also studied to professorial level, which nobody knows, is what? Used for reconciling people every first Saturday. Since my birth as a priest, 2000, I've been doing reconciliation. ADR. You see the application?
Yeah.
Then mass comm, as I'm dressing you now, my English has to be coordinated.
Yeah.
I have to speak correctly, correct English, and as if I'm broadcasting.
Yeah.
So it's linked to it. I get in it.
Yeah.
Then law is, St. Paul was a lawyer. God himself is a lawyer. Jesus was a lawyer because he couldn't measure their sense. And that's why the lawyers say learned colleague, the only learned gentleman in the world. But Jesus flawed them. Only Jesus can. It shows you that he's a learned, more learned than everybody. When he was writing, he wrote so many things.
Yeah.
And they say, where did he study? This man's knowledge is too much. So lawyers try to attain the height of God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. I get in it.
Yes.
So St. Paul was a lawyer. That's why he was able to wriggle out. There was a place he was to be killed. He looked, used his wisdom and said, yes, I'm a Pharisee. He knocked and he withdrew. So wisdom is also known. That is philosophy. Seeking knowledge for the sake of knowledge, not for materiality. So what your question is summarized in philosophy. Philo, Sophia, seeker of wisdom. That is knowledge for the knowledge acquisition to serve God in his ministry. So nothing we did was outside the ring. They were focused. So that we can attain, St. Paul says, I am all things to all men. So at this my level, I am all things to all men.
You are all things to all men.
That is it. I serve.
So, Father, I want you to tell us how this thing works.
You see, going back to our root is to become rich. They want to become rich, most of them. Now the question is, how many of our forefathers were Nigeria Limited? How many of them were West African Limited? Why going to the root to become rich? Were they rich? They were rich only with tubers of yam in the barn. In the barn. They were marrying hundreds of wives, making children that none of them want anything because none of them schooled. You see? So if they should go back to the root, they should try to be like them. They weren't putting on trousers. Our forefathers, they put on these monkey tails.
Yes.
They walk on barefoot, and they ate wild things. But today we eat fried rice, all that and all that. We put on coats. They didn't put on coats. So, and most of the things they did held us down today. But the youth never know. It was my personal experience that after evacuating all these things, people begin to rise. People begin to rise. For instance, most of them were just negative force. Like this one now, they can invoke you into this thing and put fire here. Before morning, you suffocate and die. Called Iteya. This bottle, all this they tie down are the people. This is coffin for death by the occult forces. This marine spirit. Okay, this one is against witchcraft, but it doesn't stop it. If we're going back to our forefathers, did you know what they used to prepare it? Do you know the promises they made, the covenants? Look at this one, for instance, collected from a village. This is a real human skull, sacrificed to a deity. If you were the one sacrificed, would you want it?
No.
Yes. So these are the things they did in those days and became what they were. And that's what we are saying we go back to. So my special advice is that we should not embark on a futile journey. That is no way. There is no way in it. We have seen the exposition in Anambra State that it is not what they say that they do. That they do something more heinous than what eyes can meet. So these things we are now fighting against is what we remove. They carry curses. Deuteronomy 7:25 says, knock down these things and my favor will follow you. That these things, God's anger is with them because they are converted to be gods. Whereas it was human hand.
So, but Father,
Yes.
there's one phrase they normally use.
Yes.
So once, even if I drop this video now, you will see comment like, we are worshiping imported God, we are worshiping white man God, we throw away our culture, our ancestors, that we should go back to our ancestral way of life
To achieve what?
and all that. So, why they are making that statement about going back to our destiny,
Yes.
our culture. Is this the culture they are talking about?
Thank you. There is a misnomer. There is a mixture. There is a lacuna. There is a gap in understanding. Culture. It is not true. They are mixing paganism with culture. There is a difference between paganism, Igalosi, no omenana. Omenana is good. Omenana is culture. Igalosi, but paganism. They remove that Igalosi, tinye omenana. They use English and Igbo. Igbo of another language. Let them know this thing I said today.
Okay.
They use Igbo of another language and they use the English of another language. Watch it. Paganism, the Igbo, but Igalosi. Culture, the Igbo is omenana. But they use paganism as omenana. Paganism, the Igalosi, going away from God. God is a scam. All of us are people of omenana. They refuse to use that word paganism because if they say it, we will know where you are. They use culture and use paganism and translate both with one word. Paganism, culture as omenala. It's not true.
Yeah.
You see where they mix it there? Paganism and culture, they translate all of them as omenala. That is very wrong. Paganism, the translation in Igbo is Igalosi. Ikperarosi. Culture in Omenala, in Igbo, is Omenala, Ordinala, or the band.
Exactly.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
See, every man, you cannot do without culture. Culture is the way of life of the people, to talita alita. The Veltan Shaun, the way they say things. Are you okay?
Yeah.
So, when they think these things are Omenala, it's wrong. Because they call this God. It's religion. Religion is not the total way of life, which they now confined. You see it? So, if you are forming a religion is part of culture, which they blew up, both hidden and exposed. So, when you worship these things, you are a paganist. When you worship these things, take them as real things, living things. But these things are arts. Human hand molded some of these things. For instance, I will get one thing for you now. Let me get one thing. This thing, they turn it into a god. But this is an artifact. They turn it into a god, but it is an artifact. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Now, if this is an artifact, somebody say this is our God, our forefathers, our do this. It's wrong.
Our ancestors.
Our ancestors with long nose and all this. There are too many of them like this. This is our ancestors, the way they believed it. This is an artifact. This is for you to worship this thing is paganism. It's not culture. It's a part of religion of the people, which they believe. ATR, African Traditional Religion. So that you are doing African religion should not cover the whole culture. Culture is the totality of the way of the life. It is not paganism to marry. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Why I say it is the total way of life.
Yes.
This is just a portion. But they blow this one to cover even marriage, everything in way of life for people.
Yeah.
That is wrong. Are you getting my distinction?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So that culture, you are a cultural man. I am a cultural man. All of us are cultural people. I give you an example that will clear to you now. Jesus was a cultural man. Jesus bụ onye omenala. Ama ha nụ nke ha tie. Na Okunerere support offer. Can't call again. Have you ever seen Jesus putting on tie?
No.
Do you know why? He was born into the culture of the Jews. And Jews don't put on tie, they don't put on coat. If Jesus was born in America or UK, you will see him putting on coat, putting on tie, putting on trousers. But you can never see him do that. He was born into the culture of the Jews who put on clothes like the Igbos. An Hausa man does not put Yoruba cap. Yoruba cap
Yes.
does like this.
Yes.
Hausa cap. No mimi go.
Yeah. Which is culture.
Culture. Culture is the way the people speak, live, marry, greet. But religion is just one aspect of it. Why are they blowing it, covering the whole thing? That's my... They don't know, except as I'm talking now, that it will be done on some of them. They make religion cover the whole thing. See, the way the Igbos marry is not the way the Hausa or Fulani marries.
Yeah.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
One drama of Sophia did, he went to marry in the north because he felt marriage price, dowry is cheap. You didn't know. You don't pay much if you're a Fulani man. What you do is to submit yourself on top of the table, and they give you lashes. After beating you and you didn't cry, you have finished paying your dowry. You just come out and carry your wife and go home. Osofe had it. Say, woman took us for East. He follow his Fulani friend go home to marry. After the Fulani had been lashed, he didn't cry. He was giving his wife. They said, Osofe, yeah, take over. Enter the table. He said, excuse me, could there be a place one can urinate? They said behind. He reached there. Speed, he ran back to East. Why? Because he saw the way the other man was lashed. He said, nah, so let me go and pay. That is culture.
Or the bendy.
The bendy. Or the nalafa. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
The language of translation is the problem of our youth. They don't know what they are saying. If you go to Proverbs 16, verse 3 to 5, you say, what we see is beyond what we know. That these things, they end with this. Look at their difference. They end with this, but we go beyond this.
So you are talking the difference between these ancestors and
Christian status.
Okay. Catholics, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So in Virgin Maria statue, we ask him to ask. We don't use Maria as God. But if they get Virgin Maria, they will call her God. In all their statues they create. Some will begin now to distinguish.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what they do. Anything they mold, they call it their God. They libate. They put everything. But we have distinction. We have the angels. We have Mother Mary. We have the saints. They are not gods.
So even if you mold them,
yes,
you don't worship them.
We don't worship them. We are honoring Mary. We are honoring, even if you are governor today, and somebody go and abuse your mother, you know, go put her to jail. Go put her. So people will respect your mother because you are a governor. How much more? We all accepted that Jesus is Son of God and he has a mother. Why not respect it? Are you holier than her? For Jesus to go and reside in that woman for 9 months shows that the woman is special.
Yes.
And the scripture says, all generations shall call me blessed. So we are not stopping with this man. Anything we create as Christians, we go beyond it intercessorily. Per Maria ad Jesum. You see it? Per Maria, through Maria to Jesus.
Yes. But
per Jesum ad Deum.
Yeah, but Father,
yes,
what if that sculpture of Jesus Christ himself, that, you know, when they made it, they said that when we go,
it becomes memorial.
Okay.
Memorial, remembrance. All these things are reminding us, but they have nothing to remind us. That is Ugwege, Ugweje, Mpoji. They are all there. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
They are all there in that thing. But we know our own goes beyond.
That.
Seeking the infinite, the untouchable God. This gather our mind, reminds us, keep reminding us who God is. They are not God. We go beyond it. But Africa does not go beyond this. Take it from me.
So the one that shocks me is
that's when they put it in their pocket, they believe God is there.
Yes. So Father, the one that shocks me the most is the one they will mold, they will put snake, and they will be calling it their ancestor.
That is it.
Snake.
Yes.
With a woman. I know they call it as a one or whatever. That is their God. That one they shock me past.
That is what I tell you. That they stop with it. Call it their everything. That's why I bring them here and keep, so that they know the ancestors are here. So all these things, look at where they sacrifice human being. That's what they say we go back to. Look at all this. They say this thing from OP side. They remain tied down until the day I went and lifted this key. They started marrying, going to university, building houses and all that. I have prayed and cancelled it and liberated that village. Go and ask before they started progressing. So the cause of God, Deuteronomy 7:25-28, is following all these things and stopping our movement. That's what the devil deceived our youth, so that he could get us well and tie us down permanently. And we will go back to human sacrifice. Go back to all these fetishes that do not lead anywhere. Jesus, in the scripture, the devil told him, change this stone into bread. He said, man does not live by bread alone. Jump from here, I will catch you. He said, test not the Lord your God. Kneel down for me, and I will give you the glories of the world. He said, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God alone. If it were like today, somebody was shown money, he will turn around his head and put it upside down and roll on the ground. Devil, which one do you want? Zeroing up, head pinned down.
So,
but Jesus just snubbed it.
But that is what they are doing now. People go into kidnappings. People go into killing one another.
That kidnapping is blood money. Judas sold Jesus, kidnapped Jesus, because he went to the garden and kissed him. Then the kidnappers, the army recognized him and took him. He sold Jesus about 30 naira those days. And feeling that Jesus will disappear because he knew he has power, Jesus didn't disappear. He felt, I have sold the Son of God. I didn't mean this. He took back that money. Those who sold Jesus know that they can't leave Jesus. He must die. So they didn't touch the money, called it blood money. And Judas said, take your money. He said, get out there. He dropped it for them. They used a broom to sweep it together. I used a rake and put it in a bag. And used to stick, carry the money. Went to a man selling his land and bought the land and called it burial ground. Golgotha, Opokorisi. Are you getting it?
Yes.
And the scripture says, whoever kidnaps should be killed. Everything on earth is in the Bible. So that shows those people whom bought Jesus call it blood money, and that's what you are proud of. You are eating blood money. Ego bara. They don't know, and nobody teaches them, and nobody they would like to listen. Any kidnapping you did is blood money because the person has already died. It's a ransom. So the blood money is what they are feeding on today, sacrificing human beings, taking human parts, kidnapping, measuring people in quantum of money. If they see you now, how much do you cost? Is what they see. They you see, they don't know the value of human being. Is how much does it cost? How much does it value? So if they no longer see this, that's where the devil has deceived the world into hell. They forgot. Jesus said, what will it benefit a man to own the world and lose his soul? So what it is saying now is that this kidnapping saga, this ritualism, this paganism, which they are confusing with culture, is wrong. Our culture is Igbo. Igbo is part of our culture. Hausa is part of culture. The way Hausas greet, the way Yorubas greet, the way Igbo greet, these are culture. Nabo menal ordinala or the bende. It's not paganism. The way they eat, for instance, if you see Yoruba soup and Igbo soup, you will know. Yoruba soup Before you put your hand, oil has reached you at the ankle. Oil alone. You dip your hand to get oil will reach you here. But Igbo will hardly put oil. You will say, now, the way the house has great, the young person will just prostrate. But an Igbo, a child, will go, a year, 10-year boy, 5-year boy, will shake a king. It can happen up north. It's their culture. It can never happen. You stand up to shake a king. Yeah. It's not done. Their culture says you will prostrate. That's why the Igbos are called Okunerere. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Okunerere. And they don't care. Eze doesn't care. But if you do it, it's the highest abuse for you to shake Malam or shake Alafin or all that. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
So culture is what they are confusing today in the ears of people. Paganism is equal. Let them say they are out to worship idol, which angers God. Culture is good. Culture is perfect. Culture is wonderful. Culture is lawful. Culture is a second nature. Culture is in the being. You can't separate culture from you. It has classification. Are you getting the message
I'm
today?
getting you perfectly.
Thank you.
I got you perfectly.
Thank you very much.
So, and our people should know that culture is a way of life.
Thank you.
And paganism is the worship of idols.
It's part of
deity. Okay?
Yes.
That is not our culture.
It's not our culture.
You can't kill human beings
It's
for
not
something
our culture.
and call it culture. You can't call this in God
I call it culture.
and call it culture. It's wrong.
Put somebody in this
You can't put somebody here. You can't lock somebody and call it culture.
Call it culture.
You can't use all kinds of things, all this rubbish, and call it culture.
Thank you.
It's wrong. And we shouldn't go back to what our fathers are regretting.
Let me tell you, every native doctor that did it well, before he dies, he will call the entire family and say, let nobody do what I did.
Yes.
Go and ask questions. Any native doctor, before he dies in those days, he will call his family and say, please, when I die, nobody should take over from me. Remove distance. But for me, it is too late. They will tell you.
And some of them even say to their shrines, you only know me, you don't know my children.
That is it. Because they know the danger.
Yes.
It has not taken some months when I went to Enugu. A man, before he died, he told his family, listen, start looking for Okunerere to come and evacuate this thing. Don't call any priest, don't call any native doctor. Nobody can do it except Okunerere. Didn't take time, he died. Since then, he has been worrying his family, appearing every day, telling them to remove it. Those things he left normally come out in the night and begin to make noise. You will hear the sound of Oshage in the house. There was one like this. He used to breed, used to make noise, come out physically and dance around the house. So their father appeared to them and said, I warned you people to remove these things and don't call another person. They have been looking for me for 2-3 years now. They could not. Finally, they met me at Ugoye. One of them brought their child there. So in the process, he told me that their father is almost trying to beat them physically. Anything they do, confront them. That one day he came to the dream and said, look at that motor passing. They said, that one said he want to pluck Pierre. Once he stretched out, his father quickly double-crossed the hands. You will not. You have not done what I told you. Do you know that this thing made you people not to go to school? Where I was sacrificing fowl, goat, and all that. I told people not to near it. You are all tired now. And all the children of them, they ran away to Lagos. Because anytime they came home, they will hear this noise in the house. Oshageye, physically breathing in the house. All the noise from the shrine. So, he told the daughter, do you see that black motor passing by? That is Fr Okunerere. If you don't, people call him, you will remain where you are. And you will never progress. The girl woke up, started coming to Suka. Behold, I was going to Inuguizki that day. And I was to pass in front of the house. I told her, rush, because you cannot get me for the next 1 year. Good enough, correspondingly, we are passing there. So go and stand in front of your house. When we come, wave us down. That's how we went into the house and packed all those things. Behold, it happened that I was with black car. He shouted, this is exactly the car my father showed me. So what transpires in the spirit is it? The man was conscious of removing that thing, but nobody could do it perfectly. He said it when he was alive, he said it after death. So what we're saying is that our people, I don't know how they could be educated. How many of them became Nigeria Limited after joining those things?
The only thing they could end up is JLK.
JLK, which is, everybody knows, is still the same charm they make to deceive white people. Is it not true?
That is blood money.
Blood money, as you say, because many of them died.
Even if they didn't die, it's also blood money.
Blood money, because it's never, you sucked somebody. You deceived somebody. You killed somebody who made a frantic effort to get those wealth. You deceived him by magic or by whatever means. So it's blood money. Drum it into their ear. Blood money. Kidnapping, blood money. HK, blood money. Because some people will discover that they were deceived. They use gun and kill themselves. Many whites. You might have heard it. Many whites, when they discovered that they were deceived, oh no. Because all this while they were thought it is their fellow whites. Not knowing blanker than us.
Those young boys there's a lot of things to do.
Yes.
With money.
Yes.
A lot of things. Find one and do. And you will get yourself equipped or busy instead of looking for quick money. So there's no easy way to make money. And even if you make it in
See me now. I have to suffer to keep awake in the night, to read and pray to reach the level where I've not stopped. This morning, I slept around 5:30 and woke up 7:30. I've not slept again. But they sleep all night, or they keep awake, peering here, one appear. You have to go to deceive somebody. Instead of praying or reading or walking out their way, they do that. You see, so if they can, nobody learns mechanic, nobody learns shoemaker, nobody goes to barbering, nobody learns tailor, nobody learns all those things they are going in the bid to make quick money. You must sweat for money, and God will bless your money. Not taking another person's sweat and killing the person. Thank you all.